What's up everybody, Mad Max here, and tonight we're going to start on the Type R. Going to start yanking off this turbo kit here, which was pretty good for back in the day, but today is kind of eh. I'm going to pull that off, do a timing belt, water pump, and put this thing back to stock. So stay tuned, let's do this thing. Alright, so turbo's about to come out. Managed to pull all of the bolts on the exhaust manifold with very little effort. The only ones that were really a pain to get to, but surprisingly weren't that bad to get out, was this one right here and this one right here, which you can see I got with my ratcheting wrench. Wastegate bolts came out okay. These bolts that hold the turbo on, no good. Didn't want to come out. So I got extremely lucky that all the exhaust manifold bolts came out fine. Just loosened up the charge pipe. So this is ready to come out. I am going to grab my GoPro and my tripod so you guys can see me lift this out of the car for the hopefully final time. And I just realized that my oil line for the turbo is still connected. So let's see if we can just get that right now. Of course, don't have the right wrench in my hand. Let me grab a wrench and take that off, and then we will lift the turbo out. Take one. Oh God, I hope this comes out. There we go. Ooh, that's fun. There we go. Come on. I know you want to come off. Twist. Alright, maybe it doesn't want to come off that easily. I was really hoping that that would be it. Come on. Ah, you bastard. Oh, that's fun. A little bit of oil coming out here too. Out of the turbo feed, so let's kind of keep that up right there. Factory metal gasket is actually surprisingly intact. I'm not going to reuse it because I have a brand new one. But you can see it's not bad, but garbage. If I can get this charge pipe off. Come on. Oh, come on. Come on. That's fine. Alright. We're almost there. Turbo is unbolted from the intercooler. Disconnect this feed line from the turbo. So the return line is the only thing left that's holding this turbo in this car, which is very exciting. There's the T-bolt clamp that I don't need. We're going to put the dipstick back in just for protection purposes. Ooh, that's fantastic. Let's see here. Alright, so the oil return line is disconnected, the charge pipe is disconnected, and now, without further ado, take two. Oh, why are you stuck up down, my baby? There we go. Nasty. We have a turbo. But turbo free is the way to be. Whew! So happy it's out. Oh. drippage here. We're just gonna put that right cowl for the time being. Whew. It's officially NA again. Though, kind of still have to yank out the downpipe, the intercooler, and the charge pipe. But, yeah. We no longer have a turbo on it, which I'm very excited about. I have the stock injectors, which are going to go back in. I have original factory spark plugs. I have the original ones for the car, but they're not going back in. I just bought new Honda plugs. Coolant's drained. A little bit of oil's coming out from the drain tube. We'll probably jack the car up in the morning and just drain the oil completely, because God knows like how old the oil is. They said they had the turbo on there for about 500, maybe 1,000 miles. There's no metal, and the oil is actually very clean. So I'm sure they did an oil change beforehand. Next up, I'm going to put the AC compressor back in, because I'm a fat guy, and if I keep this car into the summer, I want air conditioning. Not to mention this car is a factory air car. So air conditioning goes back in, factory exhaust manifold goes in. Second piece is probably going to go on once I jack the car up, but I'm going to at least put the primary piece on so that I have an exhaust manifold on here. But, yeah, get a little close-up in a second here. Yay! No turbo. Oh, there's the charge pipe still. That's still got to come out. But, yay! No turbo anymore. There's the downpipe. That'll come off. And, yeah. Radiator's out, because that was a piece of junk radiator. Actually, it was a nice radiator, but not factory. So factory's all going to go back in. It's a long time coming. And a lot of this wiring that I thought was just like all disgusting, chopped up nastiness actually was some stupid HIDs that were retrofitted. And I'm all for HID retrofits, but when you chop up a D2R bulb and shove it in the high beams, it doesn't exactly work well. And then you tap it to the low beams, which is just absolutely ridiculous. So I'm going to get some proper halogen high beam bulbs, pop those in. None of the wiring was really touched because they just used T-taps, so literally just pop the T-taps off, taped it up, and it's good to go again. Alright, so let's get this charge pipe officially discharged. Come on. There we go. Blow off valve vacuum line is cut and out. Broken the top part of the discharge pipe loose. That part's out. Now we got to go back with it. You've been discharged. That's a terrible joke. Definitely need to edit that out. So the stock exhaust manifold is back on. The inlet pipe is off. Gotta pull off the coupler up there. I'm gonna leave the coupler. Actually, I might just take the coupler off on the bottom, just to kind of get it out of the way. It would be kind of nice. It probably won't come. Oh, yes, it might come loose. Alright, we got that coupler off. overflow bottle doesn't look like it's in a factory mounting position, so I'm going to pull that out too. Alright, I gotta pull this coolant tank out and pull the bracket off, which looks to be a 10 mil. Is it a 10 mil? It is a 10 mil. Whoa. Judging from the duct tape on the bottom, I'm going to say that that's not OEM. Let's just dump out the remaining nastiness in there. We'll rinse this out before I put it back in too. Alright, so just unbolted the front bumper. Pulling it off right now. As long as yeah! Alrighty. So, we now have the front bumper off. Put this down right here. It's all scratched up on the bottom, so it doesn't really matter. Plus, this car needs to be painted, so not really worried about it. I now have full access to the front. Just pulled the front mount off, kind of snuck it through the bumper, and then realized that the bumper only had 3 bolts holding it in, so that was kind of not the smartest thing on my part, but it's done. Little late at night, I think it's around 11:30. This is how I spend my Saturday night. I'm missing like 1 or 2 little things, but once we jack this thing up tomorrow and start pulling the factory exhaust, or the turbo exhaust off, and put the factory stuff back on, gonna do the timing belt, and then it's actually ready to go for a ride around the block, believe it or not. It's not that much to do. So I'm excited. I don't think there's that much left. I think the vast majority was really pulling off the turbo kit, which actually went, I mean, not to jinx myself here, but seemed to have gone really well. So I'm excited. Just got to pull a couple things off. There's turbo oil line. Oil pan's got to be replaced. I have a brand new one. Thanks to afhkparts. I'll have a link to them, or a link to their Instagram. I don't think they have a website. They're a dealership in New Hampshire. They actually specialize in hard-to-find Honda parts. They had a brand new valve cover. They had some really interesting stuff. And I'll tell you, so there's 2 guys there, Ryan and Colin. I haven't spoke to Ryan, but I heard he's very knowledgeable as well. I can tell you just from dealing with Colin, great guy to deal with, knew everything. I described whatever I needed to describe to him, and he knew what it was right off the bat. So shout out to those guys. I don't know if I'd be able to do this without them. I mean, they even helped me out in terms of getting the bolts to hold the air conditioning compressor back in, because God knows if those are still here or not. But yeah, so I'm excited. This thing is looking more like a stock car under the hood, though a bit dirty and dingy. But it seems to be all there. Just got to put the last of the stuff back together and back in the car. And hopefully I'll get to drive this within a day or 2. Fingers crossed here. Yeah, so gonna start cracking on in the morning with my buddy Chris, who hopefully will come by and help me out to bang out the last of this stuff. Yeah, so thanks for watching, like and subscribe, and we'll see you soon.